Chicago, like most big cities, has its fair share of unsolved crime. And in most of these cases, somebody saw or heard something. Somebody may have seen a suspicious person, a car driving away from the scene, or simply overheard somebody talking about the case. With your help, we can put these criminals behind bars where they belong. Here in Chicago, we have too many unsolved murders. We need your help. In these cases, the police department is only as strong as the citizens that get involved. Oftentimes, all the detectives need is a tip, a start. Somebody to call in and say, I saw something. Any little information that you know can be the impetus to solve the entire case. On tonight's episode, we'll take a look at the case of Mirtosha Heath. On May 30th, 2010, Mirtosha Heath, a caring, helpful young lady, was looking to start a new life in a new state. As she was preparing to move, she took a break and decided to meet an unknown individual. Unfortunately, she never got that new start. Her life tragically ended that night. Here's her story.
Some people called her Tasha, but we called her Tosh.
Kind of quiet, kind of a loner, but she loved to write. And she was a very good cook. She loved cooking and kind of just interacting with the kids. She was just kind of like a mother.
You know, and when Tosh come around, you got problems on your hands. But she was the parent.
We grew up and it was kind of hard times for the family, and it was a lot of pressure on her growing up as a young lady because her mother didn't have and I didn't have, so it was kind of rough for her.
She made sure, clothes was washed, food was made. We went to school on time, went to bed on time. She had to be no more than 11, 12 years old taking on this role.
She liked to work. I mean, she was good at the stock market, and in fact, she helped my wife with her stocks and bonds, and kind of shocked her because she didn't know she knew anything about that.
So she was a great teacher, a wonderful teacher, and a lot of people didn't know that about her.
I mean, she had a lot of gifts.
None of us had time to be a kid because so much was going on. We stayed in a very poverty-stricken neighborhood.
I knew that she didn't like the life she was living, and she was tired of it. She's gonna have to change or something would happen, and something did happen.
On May 30th, 2010, between the hours of 4 a.m. and 4:15 a.m., a call came in to the Gary Police Department for shots fired in the area of 2500 Tyler Street. The first part of the day, we didn't know who the victim was. We didn't discover who she was till later that evening. Found out her name was Mirtosha Heath.
She called me. She was at a funeral. Somebody had died, and she had put their funeral together for them. We talked for a little minute, and that was the last time I had talked to her. But I know a little bit after she made that call, she went down there to Minnesota.
She had left town and had just came back in town. She was in the process of trying to leave Gary and go to Minnesota where her younger sister lived before she was able to. Life took a turn for the worse.
She had went to the house and got her property and belongings together and put them by the front door, and then left the house around 1 or 2 p.m.
We went to McDonald's, and she wanted to get a burger and kind of talked, and she was kind of airing to me about her life and what was going on. And next time I seen her, she was at the corners.
Witnesses heard what happened. They heard gunshots and they heard her begging, but they were not sure exactly what she had said for somebody not to do what they were about to do. Officers responded and discovered a female victim laying in a yard at that location. She had been shot. It was early in the morning, there was nobody out. It was still dark when we got there, and as we worked the scene, it became lighter and lighter as daylight came on. We're at the location of 2500 Tyler Street. This is the location that the body of Mirtosha Heath was found May 30th, 2010. She was laying next to the porch on the far side there, underneath the window where she had been shot multiple times. The CSI unit from Lake County came out to process the scene, and the Lake County Coroner's Office also responded.
We were barbecuing, and I just, you know, how you have a feeling that you just can't shake, like, man, I know something wrong. And because you can't pinpoint it, you don't, you know, get to assuming nothing, but I just felt, and when that rain came down, I just knew something bad had happened. And when it stopped raining, he came next door and told me that they just found Tosh's body.
One of my daughters called me and said they seen it over the TV, and it kind of knocked me to my knees. I said, no, it can't be. I just got through talking to her, it can't be. And I went to view the body to make sure it was her.
Man, it's gonna make the news what happened. Somebody gonna get burnt alive for the world to see.
Have you been in an accident? Have you been the victim of discrimination or had your rights violated? Have you been injured? If so, the lawyers at Hale Law would love to talk to you. We offer a free consultation. Call me, Andy Hale, 312-870-6926. 312-870-6926. I look forward to talking with you about your case.
On May 30th, 2010, between the hours of 4 a.m. and 4:15 a.m., a call came in to the Gary Police Department for shots fired in the area of 2500 Tyler Street. Witnesses heard what happened. They heard gunshots. Officers responded and discovered a female victim laying in a yard. We found out her name was Mirtosha Heath.
It was very hard. Words can't describe what you go through at that time.
It hurt it because it was all we had. Like, you know, you have friends and associates, but we were all we had.
The scene was secured by the time I got there. I got called at home and came out. She was a gunshot wound victim, and she died at the scene before any of us arrived from her injuries.
2 years prior to that death, I buried her oldest brother, and it wasn't easy.
And so to find out about, you know, these two that basically were parents to you, it was like losing the mother and the father.
It's unexplainable. In fact, you know, it hurted so bad, I wouldn't wish this on my enemy because I wouldn't want anyone to feel the pain and the hurt that I felt at that time.
Her sandals were there in a vacant lot across the street from where she'd been shot. They looked like they had been set there by her or by somebody else. It didn't look like they were just randomly thrown. At the scene, there were a couple shell casings that we recovered, and her body was laying in the front yard.
Losing these kids kind of humbled me, where I don't take things for granted.
I knew I was a different person now, but the thought was that, like, I should make somebody pay for this one. You know, you hit me hard where I couldn't think when you killed my older brother, but to see what they did to a girl, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. But I had never cried like that before in my life.
We're across the street from where the body of Mirtosha Heath was found on May 30th, 2010. Our theory is that she was with somebody at this location and took her shoes off for some reason and left them here. From here, we believe that she was chased and she ran across the street.
For anyone that's going through or dealing with a loved or lost one, I tell them, talk to the Father, lean towards the Father. Like I said, if I didn't have a power supersede my natural strength, there's no way I could endure this. I probably would end up in jail myself looking for the killer. Well, first of all, I would forgive him and just ask him why. Why? But I wouldn't hold no animosity towards him. I would really seek to forgive him and try to forget.
We can't get them back, and we're not gonna dwell on the fact that we can't get them back, but do the right thing. That's what I stress to anybody, do the right thing.
I don't think it's right to take another human life and act like it's nothing.
It's no secret to what goes on in these small towns and small cities. But I just, man, own up to what you did. That's what be a man. If you say you're a man or you took on a position as a man, you felt you were a giver or taker of life, own up to what you did. Be responsible for what you did.
If they had information and about this case, about this situation, about my daughter, I would very well appreciate it if they would come forward and give the information.
Let's get out of this, this ignorance or this stop snitching. It's about time that we quit being quiet on our own. Whether you black, white, Hispanic, we all are humans. Man, if you know something, tell somebody. You have a family that's hurting and being tormented every day.
At this time, we're asking the community to help us to solve the brutal murder of Mirtosha Heath. Investigators are trying to come up with any other information about Mirtosha's whereabouts or who she might have been with that evening. Anybody in the community that might have seen her or heard anything else. If anybody has any information, we would appreciate any help that the community might be able to give us. You can call me, Detective Mike Barnes, at 219-881-1210. If you'd prefer not to give your information, we can keep that confidential.
You can do the right thing and give a family closure.
I don't care how a person lives, who they are precious to their family.
The cases you just watched remain unsolved, and we need your help. If you have any information on tonight's episode or any other cases, please give our detectives a call. We need our communities to come together so we can take back our streets and make our neighborhoods a safer place.